on, Coach.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
I know you haven't coached at the Garden. At least I don't think you coached the Garden.
As a head coach, right?
Did you play there?
I played there. My first game at Madison Square Garden was against UCLA and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I had 17 points. My teammate had 36. We lost by about 10. Played there twice as a sophomore. I don't think I played there as a junior, but my senior played in the Holiday Festival. We beat Manhattan. We lost to South Carolina with John Roach and Tommy Owens and my high school teammate Kevin Joyce. And then we beat St. John's with Mel Davis. Very, very good St. John's team. And then we got back and went to the NIT, beat Louisville in the first round, and then lost to Carolina in my last collegiate game.
I know, guys, it is called the Mecca for a reason. When you grow up there, when you know the history of that building, everybody in the world has come through it, the chance to be on that sideline again, what does that mean to you?
When I was 9 or 10 years old, my brother Bob played for St. John's University with the legendary Joe Lapchick. And one of my first memories of going to his games was at Madison Square Garden. And back then it was the old Garden. And I said to myself, one day I'd like to play college ball and play here at Madison Square Garden. The atmosphere was just, it's actually smoke-filled. Everybody was smoking, including my father. But the history and tradition of the Garden, back then they had double headers all the time. And when I got to college and played in Madison Square Garden, it was always a very special thrill. And then as an assistant coach at Virginia, we won the NIT my first year as an assistant at Virginia. And to take your team to New York and have your players experience that is very different than any other venue you'll ever play in. And just the New York Daily News, the New York Post, the New York Times, all those newspapers, you have millions of people in the city walking up and down the streets and walking in and out of Madison Square Garden. It's just very, very different.
Did you, when you went up there in December, I know obviously it wasn't the Garden, but did you tour the old neighborhood, anything like that?
No, we were too busy. It was a very short period. The one thing we did do is we took players to a Broadway show. And we wanted them to have that experience.
And is there any time on this trip to?
No, this is a business trip. This is trying to win a championship.
Just you talking about the Garden, you seem quite excited. How do you keep the players' excitement not to be overzealous?
Well, we want them to be excited. We want them to enjoy this. I think one of the things that has happened in the NIT for this team, and I hope they realize it, is the value of cheering for your teammates. When there's something at stake, more than just winning the game, when the goal is right there in front of you, it creates a little bit more of a sense of urgency and a sense of pride. And our players have really embraced that. If you watch the TV version of our game against Richmond, you would have seen Angel Rodriguez and Manu Lacan and Mike Fernandez locking their arms together and swinging back and forth as we made our comeback and cheering for the guys. Now, Manu was available to play, but he was on the bench, yet he was still very much into the game. Angel knew he wasn't going to play. He wasn't even in uniform, yet he was very much into the game. That excitement, that energy, I think allowed us as a team not to look at our mistakes, not to look at our bad shooting performance and give up on ourselves. I think it was, we got to keep working at this. We got to find a way. And we kept trying to figure it out. How do we score against this defense? How do we stop them from running their offense? And eventually we did find a way. And we could not have done that if the attitude had not been one of, hey, we're just going to work at this. We're going to enjoy this. We're going to keep competing till that final buzzer. And when that final buzzer sounds, hopefully we'll be the team that has survived.
You expect the same lineup?
Our team? I don't know that yet because we do have some concerns about our physical. Manu tweaked his knee. We'll see today if he's able to go. Jaquan Newton tweaked his thumb. We'll see if he's able to go. But my guess is yes, but don't know that for sure.
Do you expect to have Angel available at all? Or not?
I saw him this morning at 8 o'clock, and he said the wrist was still bothering him. So I asked him, are you going to practice today? He said no.
Coach, how would a championship in the NIT compare to maybe making the tournament but losing in the first round?
Yeah, those hypothetical situations, you never go into a tournament thinking you're going to lose first game. You go in trying to win a championship. We didn't go into the NIT saying, well, this is not the NCAA and cry over spilt milk. No, we went in there saying, okay, we're invited to the NIT, let's play our best basketball now in March and try to cut down the nets in Madison Square Garden. And that's what we continue to try to do. Had we been invited to the NCAA, we would have tried to do that in the NCAA tournament. It wouldn't have been enough for us just to be invited. That's nice, but there are a lot of coaches that got invited and played in the first round and got beat and then felt like, ugh, this is awful. I know one of the things is when you play like the first game, like if you're in the first four and you lose, you don't even feel like you're a part of the tournament. The fun is winning. The fun is advancing and having people talk about your next opponent or talk about you. You know, all the media hype that goes along with it. Look at the West Virginia-Kentucky game. How much media hype was there surrounding that? You know, one kid makes a statement and the media turns it into, you know, like global warming. It's like major catastrophe. This kid said that Kentucky doesn't play hard. Crazy.
Ordinarily, I hate the blanket, the media statements, but on that one, you're right.
With all the injuries, despite all that, is the team playing the best you've seen thus far with everything that they have to endure?
I think we're playing with the best attitude, and that is huge. And we're not executing great. We shot 31%, shot 12% from three, still won the game. How do you do that? I asked the players, how do we do that? I don't even know. What do you guys do? And the answer is attitude. They just kept plugging away. They would not be denied.
How much is that a reflection from you, you just being the way you are with them?
Oh, I hope it is some reflection, or my staff, my great assistant coaches who do a fantastic job, and they keep encouraging the guys, they keep talking to the guys. But ultimately it comes down to the individual player. He has to be responsible for his own behavior, for his own attitude, for his own performance. How hard am I going to play? There was a play late in the first half where we missed a shot and they went down and made a layup. I was furious because we didn't get back defensively. There was 5 seconds left in the half. We shouldn't have shot the ball that quickly. But when you do, the game keeps going. You don't stop and put your head down. We gave up a layup. We should not have done that. We're going to be talking about that today at our 3 o'clock meeting.
The team you have now, for the most part, is, except for Joe, obviously, is the team you have next year.
You mean MVP Joe?
MVP Joe, yes.
Joe was MVP of the game the other day. He came in and he wreaked havoc. He played 11 minutes, scored 7 points, had 5 rebounds, played tremendous defense.
How much can winning now, winning in a one-and-done situation, winning in a tournament format, how valuable a teaching tool is this going to end up being?
Huge. Huge. And it's not just that. It's how. You win, but how did you win? Look at Notre Dame. Played great, shot great, passed great, did everything right. Okay, if we play that way, we got a very good chance of winning. But key is, you're not going to play great every night. You're going to have a bad game. What do you do then? Do you lose, or do you still move on? And I think our team had one of those games where we easily could have given up, we easily could have lost, and we could have just said to ourselves, we had a bad night shooting. We didn't do that. We kept looking and finding ways to win.
How much have you talked to the guys? How much did you plant the seed about the Garden to your team?
Well, my last message to the team before we took the floor against Richmond was, my wife wants to go to New York. She wants me to take her there. I can't do it without you guys. You need to take both of us. And they laughed, and we moved on and played.
It resonated, clearly, because I asked you the same question after the NC Central game. There were times your kids could have packed up the tent.
Oh, for sure. We were making a ton of mistakes in that game. The crazy thing is, all these games you watch, there are exceptions, but all these games, teams make mistakes. You have to overcome your mistakes. It's not going to be like you're mistake-free. The team we're playing, Temple, is one team that doesn't turn the ball over. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They average less than 10 turnovers a game, about 9. They play a very simple brand of basketball. And because of that, they're always in the game. It's the teams that turn the ball over a lot. They can go on a run, play well, but then all of a sudden you have 3 or 4 turnovers out of 5 possessions. You lose your momentum, the other team picks it up, and pretty soon you find yourself behind and in trouble. So this game Tuesday night is going to be a war. First amongst the guards, because their guards are absolutely terrific. All 3 average in double figures. They can all handle, they can all shoot. They all play terrific one-on-one. They shoot off the bounce, they shoot off the catch. Fran Dunphy is a very experienced coach. He's had tremendous success at Penn and at Temple. And their big guys are athletic and long and shot blockers and rebounders. So it should be a real battle.
Plus, you expect it to be almost a road game atmosphere, given the proximity of Philadelphia.
Well, I'm sure they'll have a larger contingency of fans than we do, but I'm hoping all of my friends and family will be there to support us. Coach Caputo, all the mafia, we want them to come out and support him. Mike Uger, we need all of Harlem come out and support Mike, and all my friends from Parkchester and the Bronx.
Jim, after the last time we were kind of in here before the NC Central game, you said there wasn't much time for them to dwell on the disappointment. When did you see kind of the attitude flip, the switch, and that they were saying, "Let's go. We're gonna take this all the way"?
I thought it was at practice that Monday. You know, you can normally see in your first practice back, do the guys have energy, or are they still bummed? And you saw Colorado State; they were still bummed. And then on Tuesday they got beat right away. We had energy, and the guys were ready to play. And then on Tuesday, we were in a battle. We told the team, hey, this team went 16-0 in their own league. But you know they're good and they're confident. Well, to beat them took a major effort. We got that.
How's the shot clock changed your game?
I think the shot clock is more of a factor than I anticipated coming into these games. But I have seen a number of times where we've kind of walked the ball up the floor and got into our offensive sets pretty slowly, and then at the end felt rushed. So we've got to do a much better job in this next game of executing. And we'll be working on that the next couple of days.
I think you were asked about this a few weeks ago. I honestly don't recall the answer. Are you a proponent, one way or the other, of changing?
I think the 30-second clock would be good. Now, I don't think the nation will feel that way. I think the majority of coaches don't like change. I'm comfortable with 35. I don't want to make any changes. There's 2 or 3 coaches in our league that would prefer it would stay at 35, but I do think it'd be good for college basketball. It would add a few more possessions, a little bit more speed to the game.
What about the restricted area?
Yeah, that needs to come in. We actually need to widen the lane and probably add some distance to the three-point circle. That way I don't have to tell a guy he can't shoot it.
Any haunts that you're going to have to look up while you're there? I mean, you will have a little bit of free time.
No, I will not. My wife's coming with me.
Okay. Any haunts she's going to make you look up while you're there?
No, I have friends who are coming. They're all asking for tickets. This tournament's going to cost me a lot of money. I'm serious. It is. I got all these friends. Everybody comes out of work. You remember me from the 3rd grade? I was the one that copied off your math test. Can you leave me 5 tickets?
How big was Parkchester?
For those of you who don't know, Parkchester was the largest privately owned projects in the world. It was 4 quadrants, north, south, east, and west, divided by the Oval, which was a World's Fair monument right in the middle of the Parkchester. And it was 64,000 people in like 4 blocks. Every family, back then it was all the baby boomers. So every family had 5 or 6 children, people living in 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom apartments. And you hung out in your own park. I lived, and this is the expression you always used, I lived down the east. Down the east.
Down the east.
I played ball down the east. But if you played in the north, it was just I play in the north. But we played down the east. And that's where all the best players went. If you wanted to play, you played in the east playground, not in the north playground.
Could you just go? Or was it like a hierarchy that you had to kind of earn your spot?
Well, what made you learn how to compete was all the guys that showed up at the park, winners stayed on. So if you lost, which you could very easily do because of the quality of players, they were all Division I players. And if you lost, you had to wait your turn to get back on, and you might sit for an hour. And the competition was tremendous. When I was in high school, during the summertime, I got to the park no later than 9 a.m. and never left until 9 p.m. when it was too dark to play. 12 hours every day. Every single day of the summer. My friends did the exact same thing. My point guard from high school and will be at the game, and my point guard, same guy, he was my point guard in elementary school, and the shooting guard from my elementary school will be there at the game on Tuesday.
No wonder it's going to cost you.